actually, what you just pointed out is that there's almost like a process of going into a downward spiral. It's like each step, once you buy into a negative belief at one level, then it takes you down to yet another level.
Yes, it's like an elevator. You've pressed the down button instead of pressing the up button.
But in terms of something like grieving, that would be a little different in terms of not.
It's a little different, but not much. It's still utilizing a similar mechanism because, as I said, the only reason you really grieve is that you have a definition that you've lost something, that it's truly been separated from you, and that there's no connection remaining. If you change that definition, you would experience something quite different. So it may be slightly different as an expression, but it still utilizes the same mechanism. The definitions are creating a misalignment with what is true.
And so in the future, when we have stronger connection to those that have passed over, will we be able to just talk to them in our heads as if they're standing there, or will it be something where we do it through a device?
It can be any number of mechanisms. Ultimately, it can simply be you're talking to them because you can see and hear them, because you're matching a frequency that they exist on in their particular realm.
So then the only other barrier perhaps would be the idea that you cannot physically touch the person, or you don't.
Even that is not necessarily true. As we exist in our civilization, as what we are terming quasi-physical beings, means we have traits of both physical and non-physical reality. Spirits can touch us and we can touch them.
Wow.
It's a matter of realigning your frequency.
So you mean we could actually get to the point where, for example, the person who lost their daughter would actually be able to feel that they're in a one-on-one communication, talking and being able to hug? Or
yes, if you look at your literature about the idea of what you call ghosts, you will find that there are many references to beings that seem so solid, people on your planet don't even know they're looking at a spirit. So it depends on the reasons for that, and we're not going to go into that at the moment. But clearly, in your literature and in your accounting of such meetings, you do have a listing of experiences where people couldn't even tell that they were speaking to a ghost.
And that would just change our whole process. Once we get to that point, grieving will be unnecessary, I suppose.
Yes, but of course, it's really backwards. Once you change to that point, grieving will be unnecessary.
I see. According to our scientists, the Earth's core is iron nickel sphere. So does that mean that Earthlings have an iron heart? And in your opinion, what is the strangest material you've discovered at the core of a planet in our physical universe? And what did it mean for the life forms there?
The idea, of course, is that you do have iron in your blood and your blood passes through your heart. In that sense, you could say, yes, you have an iron heart, energetically speaking. The most interesting substance we have found at the core of a physical planet is neutronium. The idea of everything being packed so tightly that it becomes neutral without a positive or a negative charge. The life forms that are connected to that particular world are unlike anything that you might understand and exist on a level of quantum fluctuations.
Certainly is an interesting universe, isn't it?
Yes.
And you would know because you've seen a lot more of it than perhaps we have.
I've seen a little more than you have, but I have seen nothing but a fraction of what exists.
Wow. And is Earth just an amazingly unique planet in terms of all the animals and life that's here? I mean, how do you all view that?
Everything is unique.
Yes.
You are differently unique, yes, than any other world. There are worlds that are somewhat similar to yours. You are similar to them. But again, not identical. Unless you're looking at the idea of parallel realities in which another Earth may be so similar that you can't tell the difference. It might be only different literally by one subatomic particle. Still a different universe. So there can be those that look almost identical where you cannot tell the difference. And there are those that are so radically different you wouldn't even know that it's still considered to be Earth.
You've said on several occasions that everything is made out of love. If that's true, does that mean that even the greatest criminals and sadists are made out of love? And how can love produce such hatred, cruelty, and oppression? Please
Because
explain how
love,
it.
true love, is unconditional, remember? That is the essential vibration of existence. You simply translate that as unconditional love in your language. But the key word is unconditional. Therefore, it's simply a matter of everything being made out of that vibration, harmonizing with that vibration, but because you are experiencing yourself as an individuated consciousness in physical reality that can be built upon filters and belief systems, you don't necessarily experience it that way because you don't necessarily know how to align with it because you haven't been taught how to do so. So even the idea of someone you would consider to be a criminal may be acting, quote unquote, out of love in their true intention, but they may have no way of understanding how to actually express that in an aligned and harmonious way because they don't have the tools. They haven't been taught how to do that. So their actions, to the best of their ability, may be being done out of a distorted sense of love or self-love. But again, it's not necessarily a holistic expression, a unifying and harmonizing expression of the idea of the basic, fundamental, unconditional vibration of existence itself. Because you have the freedom to choose, because things are unconditional, how to express the idea of the love of which you're made, of the vibrational existence of which you are made.
And the idea of bringing heaven to earth. Can you share some more with us about how that relates to the heart and
Well, again,
the experience we're having here?
yes, when you clear out the negative vibrations, the definitions in your belief systems that are not relevant for you as a being in your true sense, then the vibration, message, communication from the higher mind will go to the heart as it does and be reflected to a physical mind that is now clear and transparent and free of any distortions in its belief system. And by doing that, you radiate then to all parts of your body and outward through your electromagnetic aura that vibration of purity and alignment and clarity that comes more directly from the higher mind to the heart to now a physical mind that is a transmitter in a pure sense. Thus then that can, by example, allow others to sense that vibration and if they so choose, start to match that vibration because now they're being given an opportunity to do so. And that can help alleviate the idea of any distortions by at least providing the option of a clear vibration to others in much the same way that the unconditional love of our civilization is offered to you, but you still have to be the ones to agree to harmonize and match that frequency. Thus, our vibration and our sharing is unconditional. It's up to you to match it. And we would not necessarily have been giving information to you for the last 38 of your years had not some of you at least decided to match it and be living examples of that frequency. That doesn't mean that you have to exactly be like us or do exactly as we do. It simply means that you were willing to let go of all those things that aren't truly you, that are your challenges, your themes of exploration in this particular life to get to know yourself from a new point of view, and have let go of the need now to do that because you are now more willing to be your true self just on its own merit. And thus then you have elevated the frequency of your entire world and given many people more of an opportunity, as you align with any source of unconditional love, to allow themselves to align with those sources as well, whatever they may be, whatever works for them, and increase the likelihood and the probability of more people choosing to navigate themselves through different parallel versions of Earth over and over to ones that are more and more reflective, like a mirror, of the vibrational choices you have made to be in harmony and in alignment with the unconditional love of all that is.
Thank you. If you don't eat chocolate or drink wine, how exactly do you celebrate Valentine's Day on Essassani? And do the hybrids go through adolescent crushes like people on Earth do?
We don't celebrate Valentine's Day on Essassani. That's a holiday on your planet. Our children do not go through teenage crushes. These are not relevant questions for my civilization. We are always in love. We are always harmonious. We are always balanced at this point in our evolution. And we do not have the idea of holidays in the same way you do.
Okay. And in your travels, what is the most number of hearts that you've ever encountered in a single being?
5.
And how does that play out in terms of the expression of the being, or what does that mean? I guess it's different for each civilization, but
Yes.
I don't know if there's anything you can share with us about the nature of a civilization where people have 5 hearts.
Yes, although the most common we have ever encountered is 3 hearts. This again is representative of the idea of the triad, the trinary function of all that is, the trinity, so to speak, where the vibrations of the hearts bounce off and reinforce each other in a very particular geometric format. It's very stabilizing in that sense for these particular civilizations that we have encountered, where the beings have what you would consider to be 3 hearts. It doesn't mean that they're hearts in the same way that your heart is structured, but they function similarly. The 5 heart beings perform a very specific kind of function with regard to the heart connections being connected to different aspects of nature or spirit. In other words, each heart serves a function of making a connection to a different aspect of their reality. They can actually switch their focus and their concentration from heart to heart to amplify and magnify their connection to different parts of nature and their particular experience of reality. It's quite unique in our experience.
Hello, Bashar. My name is Chow. Thank you so much for taking my question. I wanted to ask you to speak on belief systems a little deeper. You've said in the past that once you realize a negative belief system that you have doesn't make sense, you let it go. I've seen this has happened, I know this is to be true. But I've been surprised lately because I've had a few negative, let's say, encounters or negative feelings. And when I ask myself, as you've taught, what do I have to believe about myself to feel this way? The answer has been things that I didn't realize I felt. So like 2 or 3 things. An example is like not being good enough. And so I have tried to reason this to myself and been like, well, listen, creation doesn't make mistakes. So obviously I exist, I'm worthy. I know I'm valid. I love myself. But these issues persist. And again, consciously, I don't feel like I have that belief system. I don't believe that I believe that. So I don't believe that. So maybe it's just my own awareness is lacking. But I was hoping maybe you could speak to that and offer some advice for people struggling on this level. And perhaps some advice for me in particular with that. Anything you can offer, I'd appreciate. Thank you so much. Much love.
All right. Well, again, perhaps you have to strengthen the part of that exercise that has to do with if you did, in fact, actually let go, if you did really understand that it's not true and let go of that idea that you're not worthy, as an example, are you afraid that something else will happen if you let that go? If you really are willing to be your true self in your society, are you afraid of something else happening when you are your true self? So we would encourage you at this particular point, without too much detail being given to you, to explore that side of the equation. What are you afraid might happen if you did let go of those particular definitions that you're discovering popping up in your unconscious mind? What would really happen? What do you believe might happen that you wouldn't prefer or that you might be afraid of? So we will encourage you to explore that at greater depth. Good day, good day.
Hi, Bashar. It's wonderful to feel you again.
And you as well. Please
Thank you
proceed.
so much. Yes, so I am wondering if anyone here on Earth are making or getting close to making spaceships the way you are making spaceships. And
Well,
the reason
it will take a while. It will take a while before you can make them the way we do. However, you have the technology to make versions of craft using different kinds of energy that are non-polluting, that are much more advanced than what you have now. You have all of that technology. A lot of it over time has been suppressed by many people in your society who are operating out of fear. But the idea is you have the technology to make versions, but it will take you quite a while to make versions in the way that we do.
Right, I see. Yeah, one of the reasons I'm asking is because I'm listening to a lot of videos from different organizations like NASA and billionaires such as Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, and they have big plans when it comes to space travel. And I know they are making a fuel, or they want to refuel their spaceships on the moon. And they're doing a lot of work, and I'm wondering if you are in contact with them at all, or if they are.
No, not directly with us, no.
Right, so they're doing it the Earth way.
Yes, but that's all right.
Okay.
They're in contact with whoever they need to be in contact, and most of that contact probably occurs most likely in dreams.
Ah, interesting.
So they're guided how they need to be guided for now. Eventually, they will come upon the understanding that there are other ways to do these things, other ways to travel in space, other kinds of energy sources they could be using. But for now, let's just say baby steps.
Okay, thank you. And I'm also wondering regarding the eye of the needle.
Yes.
Where you said before Corona hit, you were warning us about the storm, and then you said that, if I remember correctly, that the eye of the needle will end sometime in 2023.
Yes.
Right. So I'm wondering, I just get a sense that there are more different kinds of storms coming, particularly maybe in the financial system.
Yes, there are many challenges that you will face this year, but again, that's all right because it provides the opportunity for clarity, for choosing the belief systems that truly work for you, that are positive in nature, to let go of fear-based belief systems, to streamline yourselves, strip away those things that are negatively oriented, that anchor you to a negative past, to move forward in a positive way. It's a challenge that many of you will be able to utilize to accelerate yourselves toward the future and toward the experience of open contact as it begins to unfold in 2023.
Right. Yeah, it's very exciting. It
Yes.
feels like you're, very transformative.
Yes.
And I'm also wondering, you said in a video that the hybrid children don't necessarily want to sit down and eat all the time, or some of them find it interesting how often we eat.
Yes.
And and my toddler is the same way. I mean, it's very difficult to get him to sit down at the table and eat.
Yes.
But if he doesn't eat, he gets hungry, and that can lead to other challenges. So my question is there a better way to handle meal time with young children?
Well, the idea, first and foremost, is that many of them may require a lighter diet in terms of what it is they eat. You can explore with the child what it is they may be excited or attracted to at certain times when they are hungry. The idea can be worked through in discussions, in conversations, and you can use your creative imagination to, shall we say, describe the different foods that probably are beneficial for them in ways that get them excited about them. You can make up stories about them in terms of what their abilities are, what they will give to the body, what they will allow the child to experience if they incorporate those substances in their body. Remember, the idea of teaching a child requires the parent and the teacher to be as creative and imaginative as a child in coming up with how to have a conversation that really gives the child an understanding from a different perspective about what certain foods will do for the child to help them thrive and sustain their viability in physical reality. So it's up to you to be creative with the stories about what the different foods will do.
Okay. Yeah, excellent.
All right.
Just if I may, one more.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if everyone in this community are likely part of the hybridization agenda, right?
With a great degree of probability, most individuals who have contact with us through these conversations have something to do with the hybridization agenda in general, most probably. It's not an absolute, but most probably.
And if someone was part of the hybridization agenda but is not really attracted to your type of information, does that just mean that they're not ready yet and perhaps will be later?
It may mean many things. It may mean they have their own way of interpreting the idea, their own way of expressing it, their own path to follow. That may not necessarily be exactly what seems to be aligned with what we're saying. Nevertheless, yes, it's possible that further down the path, they may key back in to some of the principles that we talk about and share with all of you. But again, remember that one of our most important principles is to allow everyone to follow their path.
Absolutely, yes.
But no, they don't have to immediately exhibit what seems to be a harmonious agreement with everything that we're saying. That doesn't mean they're not part of the hybridization agenda. And remember, we're not the only one delivering these kinds of informations. So they may key into someone else because of where they're at in life and what they need to hear and the way they need to interpret it. It doesn't mean they're not part of the hybridization agenda just because they're listening to something else.
Right.
So,
That's
does
very
that
helpful.
serve you? All right. Thank you very much and good day.
Thank you. You too.
Hello, Bashar. My name is Gabby, and I'm from Chicago, but I currently reside in Costa Rica. I had quite an interesting question to ask. So the question is, what if we are watching our life through the real us, through our intention and our energy and our presence, and our life is actually a video to the real us, and it's just a mirror reflecting to us in the real us perspective. Thank you for your time.
Well, in a sense, that is so. You are creating a projection of your consciousness. If you want to call it a video, you can. You can call it a hologram, whatever you wish to call it. It's a projection of your consciousness. That's what physical reality is, and that's why it's a mirror. It's reflecting your state of being, your belief system, what you believe to be true about yourself and your relationship to the idea of the collective consensus reality that you've all agreed to participate in. So yes, in a sense, most of you is still in spirit, observing what the physicalized portion of your consciousness is going through, almost like watching a video from the spirit point of view. But of course, while you are in the video in physical reality, you may not necessarily experience it as a video. You experience it as a real thing happening to you. But it's still, nevertheless, a projection of your consciousness. But as we said, yes, a reflection of your state of being that can be used to guide you in life so that you can choose the state of being that you prefer instead of simply going along with what the mirror of physical reality is reflecting to you at any given moment.